I've got another very big box to unbox. This time it's from Artillery and it's the Sidewinder X2 3D printer. This is a very large 3D printer, very well packaged, very heavy, but I did have a little bit of a problem. The drive belt on the Y-axis had become detached in shipping. It's a little bit tricky to fix, but take the bed off and then put a new cable tie on, reattach it. While the bed was off, I adjusted the eccentric nuts just to make sure it was all running properly. On goes the gantry. Screws are pre-installed, making it really easy to set up. But you can see how big this printer is. And as I said, it's quite heavy, nice solid build. This is the spool holder, runs on bearings, very smooth, nice design actually. That just slots in the top and fixes with a couple of little thumb screws. Bit of wiring up the gantry and the filament run out sensor. And here I'm just adjusting the other eccentric nuts on the gantry. You can see the dual Z-axis lead screws there on the back of the machine. And it even came with a full kilo spool of PLA. And it's this nice blue which matches the top of the printer. You can see it spinning very nicely. Then we're into Cura, Ultimaker Cura, which is the slicing software, just finding the printer and then putting that on there so it puts up the correct profile. Then we're going to find something to print. So I'm just going through all my models. This is one of my designs. It's my cheese fridge magnet. So we're going to have some blue cheese. Here I'm just doing some manual bed levelling, going round and round to each corner, using the touch screen to move it into each corner, and keep going round and round until you get it right. Then it's on to auto bed levelling. This was very simple to do. Then we're just making sure the Z-axis offset is correct. Loading filament, this is all done via the touch screen. Loading and unloading filament is done via the touch screen. Let's take a look at some of the features of the Artillery X2. There's the hot end with its direct drive extruder. That's the auto levelling sensor. Going up to the top, we've got the spool holder and the filament run out sensor there. And the nice spool of PLA they supplied. Dual Z-axis lead screws. And they are linked as well. Dual motors as well as a linking belt. Nice touch screen. It's a little bit small, but it's very functional. There's the memory stick you could just see there. Let's start the print. It's just doing the levelling and then a purge line. I should have done a bit better lighting here. And here we are. This is just the skirt going down. And the auto levelling has done a great job. This is a brilliant first layer. Very pleased with this, especially as a first print. All ready for the blue cheese. You can see how well this is going down. Bed adhesion was really good. Here we are, part the way through the print. You can see the infill pattern there. 20% infill I'm using on this. Always fascinates me looking at how these work. There it is, just finishing off. Very, very quiet, this printer. It's one of the quietest 3D printers I've used. And there we have it, the blue cheese. It's a good result. I printed this without supports, and generally the bridging is very good. Tiny bit of ghosting there and a few visible layer lines, but generally very good. Nice smooth top layer as well. Here's some close-ups of it. I was very happy with that. There's the little holes for the magnets underneath. And here's another one of my designs. This is my bullfrog design. These are being printed at 0.2 layer height. A little bit coarse probably for a small thing like this. But there it is. Many of my designs are available on Printables and Creality Cloud. But he's come out very nicely. No supports needed on this model. Here's some close-ups. Here we are out in the garden where the light's a bit better. You can see the layer lines a bit, but this is 0.2 layer height on quite a small model. Now this is a very familiar first layer going down here for anyone who's done any 3D printing. This is a 3D benchy. I don't really like printing other people's models, but it's a good way of demonstrating how good a printer is, or fault finding, or fine tuning. It's got many features on this little boat that put a printer through its paces really. Another very good first layer. Here we go, part the way through. You can just see there's an LED light on the hot end here just to highlight what you're doing. Doesn't show up very well here, but there's the benchy. Very impressive, very pleased with it. Great overhangs, nice flat surfaces, nice finish. Very, very good. It's not perfect, there's a bit of ghosting, a few layer lines, but generally a very nice benchy. No stringing at all. Even the bottoms come out really nice. This was a prototype I was working on, using the full width of the bed. I'm always working on something. This was 0.16 layer heights, and you can see it gives a very smooth result. I did print some TPU. This is a little cap, custom cap that I needed for a project I'm working on. That came out very, very well, but I did encounter a few problems with printing TPU. The extruder didn't like the TPU an awful lot. You can see the outer surface of this TPU model's a bit rough. The top is very stringy, but it's a very stringy design, and that's the problem when printing TPU. But it took a few attempts to print that. This is my pineapple vase design. Another great test of a printer. Yep, and it's a big one. This is printed in vase mode or spiralised outer contour. And this has come out really, really well. I've printed it on a raft for reasons I'll explain at the end. But you can really... Hello folks. Well, I've finished experimenting with my Artillery Sidewinder X2 3D printer, and these are my final thoughts and conclusions on it. Overall, it's been a great experience. Minor hiccup. Unboxing revealed that the drive belt of the Y-axis had become detached in transit. Fairly simple to fix though. I took the bed off, unscrewed the bed, and that gave me better access to the belt, and I just put a new cable tie on it and refixed it. So it wasn't a huge problem. While the bed was off, I took advantage of that and adjusted the eccentric nuts on the runners just to get it all running properly. Other issue I had was printing TPU. I had a couple of problems where the extruder just would not feed the TPU properly. It was forming a loop, and also the filament run out sensor kept saying that it had run out and would stop the print, and it didn't do it with any other filament. It was just with the TPU I was using. Whether it's semi-translucent and it's an optical sensor, I'm not sure, but I didn't have any issues other than that. Great features on it, fantastic if you want to build big things, helmets, cosplay stuff, or big vases, anything like that. Really, really good. The build plate is glass, gives a really nice finish to the underside of your print, and it reaches temperature very quick. It's not flexible, of course, because it's glass, and it's not easily replaced because it is permanently wired in. You can't take the glass plate off the heating element, so I can't see it being a huge problem, but I do like flexible plates these days. It does make getting print off a lot easier, and with glass build plates in the past I found that sometimes pieces could get quite well stuck on them, and you could put the glass plate in the freezer once it cooled down enough, and then that would help the print pop off the plate. It does take a while for it to cool down. Where you cannot remove the glass from the heating element, then it does take a while to cool down before you can release your print. Overall I'd prefer a flexible plate, but the plate worked very well. I didn't have any adhesion problems at all. I didn't use any extra adhesive or anything like that. It just worked. Got lots of features, like I say, the auto leveling, really good. Touchscreen, a bit small but worked really well. Filament run out sensor, dual lead screws on the Z axis, very stable, very heavy construction, really, really good. But biggest thing I printed was my pineapple vase design. I did that in vase mode, or spiralise outer contour mode, and that came out remarkably well. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Very pleased with that. A lot of my designs are available on Printables and on Creality Cloud, so you can check that out. My top tip for vase mode with these glass beds is print them on a raft. It takes longer, uses more filament, but it means when you come to get it off the bed, it's a lot easier to get your scraper or spatula underneath the edge of the raft and lever it all off. These are only one layer thick, very easy to break trying to get them off a solid glass build plate. One of these under, no problem at all. My other top tip is remember to turn off vase mode when you're slicing your next model. I did all the other settings, and I didn't really look. I just set it to print overnight, and I came down or came up this morning to check it, and I had this mess because it's printed it in vase mode. But there we are. That's me not concentrating. But overall, I think it's a very good value printer with lots of features from top end printers. Really, spool holder's really good, very smooth running, and that makes a big difference too. But many thanks to Artillery for sending me the X2 to review, and I shall be back soon with some more videos.
More rubbish coming soon.